All right, welcome back to the recorded live version of Game Tech and Cut Rights, Just the Tip Tuesday. It's been a New York minute. Elk season has come, and today it goes. So hopefully you're not listening to this on the 30th. You're out in the woods chasing bugles or cows, or
That's what I wish I was doing.
in my case, shooting bunnies and grouse, like whatever floats your boat, something's got to die. Um, so we're here to wrap up elk season. Ryan did
Yeah.
a great job reposting some of Paul's stuff. Our hunts are over for the year. We're not going to give the full recap on this one. We're just going to give one thing we both learned. Is that right, Ryan?
I think so. Every elk season I feel like I learn a ton, whether it's like, man, I should have drew there. And every situation's different, but I walk away
Yep.
with just so much knowledge and different things I want to do different the next year.
I agree, man. I agree. It's not always about the kill, as we find out year after year after year and get reminded of, right? The elk meat sure
Right.
tastes good though. So,
Yes, it does. I know
this is going to be go ahead.
I'm out of elk meat. So I am, and I'm eating tag soup. So it's going to be a rough year.
Ooh. I will preface this with the tag that I have gotten for the past 5 years. I will not be getting that tag again next year. I'm changing it up. I'm doing something different. I'm
Nice.
getting a different tag next year. I don't know what tag that is yet. It depends upon what you and I talk about and decide for next year and stuff like that. But I'm changing it up. I love the tag that I've been hunting and killing on for the past 11 years, I guess. But it's just time for something different.
I get that.
Time to move on. It's like, if you read a book by the same author after too many books, you're like, I need something else. So,
Right. Nope. I
so
get that.
this is gonna be hard for me though, limiting it to one thing I learned. I have one main thing I learned, but I'll throw a couple other side ones in there
Nope.
first.
That
So
that sounds good. I know, like there's just so much, but you want me to go first?
do it, dude. Lay it on us. Let's hear it.
Okay. So in this one encounter with a bull this year, there's probably 20 things I could change, but the thing that stuck with me the most that I've really, really struggled with, because we all know when you miss a bull, uh, you play that in your mind millions and millions of times. You're frustrated, you're walking in the mountains, uh,
Yes.
and then the drive home's just terrible. And so,
Yes.
but out of all the things I thought about with that encounter I could have changed, the one thing that I wish I would have changed is I would have got my arm out of the bowstring. So I
Ooh.
slapped my arm, if you can see it, maybe you can't.
Yep.
Uh, my left to right with the arrow is good. It just lost all of its energy. I mean, I have a bruise all the way up my forearm. I hit it really good, and you just think, man, every time I shoot, that never happens. Like, and so in those moments, you don't think about that. You think, you're just kind of going kill mode. We've talked about that before. You go in kill
Yep.
mode. You can't hear
Yep.
anything. You don't think about anything. You just think, shoot this bull. I'm just going to
Yep.
kill this thing. And
Yep.
and as I've been thinking about it, I think there's a good balance in shooting and that kill zone. It's good to follow your instincts, get into that instinctual mode, because I think if you overthink, it's not a good thing. But I've been thinking more and more that just getting in that 100% instincts isn't really good either, because you need to have a balance where you're still thinking of like your ABCs of shooting your bow
Yeah.
and keeping my arm out of the way, staying in your bow. I mean, I've talked to a few people this year that's like, I missed it. I pulled, I just pulled. I wanted to look too fast. And, at a target, we don't think about these things. But in those moments, I think it's good to think about those ABCs. Make sure you're relaxed. That's my problem,
Yep.
is I just was so tense and I got that elbow in, and I wasn't thinking about anything else but shooting that bull. And so, making these ABCs, and when you get into that kill zone, having a few things that it's like, I'm going to think about this every time. I'm going to stay in my
Yeah.
bow.
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to do, because I've missed by pulling to look. And so I always say that, but now I'm like, I got to add this to my ABCs, while I'm shooting, keep my arm out of the way. Because, I've hit my arm a little bit and the arrows hit targets and done fine. But
Yep.
with how bad I hit my arm, that arrow just looked like it died. It just had no energy, and I could have pulled down a little bit, and that's why I went underneath of it.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
there's a few factors into it, but uh, that's kind of been stuck on me like crazy. It's like, man, I think I could have got that bull if I just didn't have my dang arm in the way. And
Yeah.
so, so with all the other things I could have changed, I'm like, man, I need to be better at when I'm in those moments, doing my ABCs. Like, this is what I need to think about. I don't want to overthink, but there's still things I need to think about when I'm shooting a bull with
Yep.
rifle or with my bow.
I love it. I love it. So you're adding that to the repertoire, like staying a little more present in the moment instead of going into direct kill mode.
Yeah. I mean, I've been told that I don't hear anything when I'm shooting. You've talked about
Oh
it
yeah.
too.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I think I've broken Taylor's eardrums twice because he has no clue I'm shooting, and he's just sitting there and looking for the bull or whatever I'm shooting,
Yep.
and so I do think I think that's a good thing, but I also think there's a moment to sit back, take a breath, just go through those few simple things and make sure that you're good to go. I
I
mean,
love it.
I consider this getting scoped by a gun, kind of that similar where
Oh, we've all done that. I mean, if you haven't done that, you haven't shot a gun enough. I mean, yeah, that's a real thing.
so
So
there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the one that's just been eating at me all season.
I like it. I like it. Nah, you gotta, it's in the past. You gotta have a short memory. Like a goalie
Right.
on a hockey team, you gotta have a short memory, man. Move forward. So unfortunately, we have to not just wait to the next weekend or the next game. We have to wait to the next year.
Yeah. 11 months.
So I like it. Yeah, 11 months. That's right. So, I mean, I've learned a plethora of things. One thing that I am extremely convinced about is that the rifle hunters have gotten the cream of the crop of the rut the past year and this year as well. I really think that October 10th, 11th, 12th time, that's like the new September 23rd, 24th, 25th to me. I've seen it slowly push over the past couple decades, and that's what's sticking in the back of my head, right? Like, man, rifle hunters are gonna have a hell of a year. Like, but couple things I learned. We talked about in one of our podcasts right before the season, practicing purposeful patience. And if it wasn't for the practice of purposeful patience on my last day of hunting, which was a couple days ago, what day is today? Sunday? So it was yesterday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yesterday, I wouldn't have gotten into the cacophony of bulls that I did and the bugle fest that I did, right? Like, whether it was purposeful or not, I was annoyed at the situation. And because I was swinging for the fences, trying an area I have never been in before. Started out with about 50 moo cows hanging out at the trailhead, which annoyed me even more. Walking in for multiple miles with 0 elk sign, which annoyed me even more. And meanwhile, I'm taking in everything around me. I'm like, man, I know I'm annoyed at these couple things, but man, what a kick-ass sunrise. It's
Right.
awesome. It's like 25 degrees in this basin I'm walking in. It was awesome. The first cold day for me of September, right?
Yeah, it's been warm.
I mean, I did my 5-day hunt and I posted it on the Cut page. Weather blew in, calling for no rain, just wind. The weatherman's full of crap. It's the only
it's the only job you can be wrong and keep your job.
and it's not just wrong. It's so freaking wrong.
And
you don't ever have to say you're sorry. Why can't homeboy just say sorry? Hey, to all the hunters out there, I know I said no rain. Haha, I screwed you guys bad. Sorry. Like, how
Yeah.
about just that? Just one time. One time. I mean, you're in North Idaho. You're the newscaster for North Idaho. You know, like 80% of us hunt. Like, can't you just say sorry? Like, just once. Just once. Don't come and be like, oh, the
Right.
weather pattern shifted. All of a sudden they shifted. Now you guys are gonna get the garden hose turned on. Yeah, kiss my butt. Like, that was effing horrible. That day was horrible. I just wanted a sorry. I just wanted a guy to text me. Anyway, I hiked all the way up in this basin, was annoyed, enjoyed the time, and said, you know what? I'm here. And I pulled out my phone and I started to think, all right, I have a deadline to make because I have to be home for a commitment at 4 o'clock. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to bug out of here as fast as I can, sprint to another place, do that? And I made the conscious decision to sit down and be like, nope. If all else fails, I'm going to sit down here in this park, well, mountain meadow that I found that should be a rut fest right now, but was not. And I'm going to eat my granola bar and I'm going to eat my beef jerky stick and I'm going to drink some water and I'm going to chill out here for a while. I'm going to practice purposeful patience. I'm a couple little cow mews, nothing. And, then all of a sudden on a south facing slope way up above me, I didn't know if it was a moo cow baying. Is that what it's called when moo cows moo? Baying? I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
that
I mean,
or an elk bugle, but I was like, man, that sounded like a bugle. And then all of a sudden, the entire canyon lit up. 6 different bulls, all screaming their heads off. I didn't have to make noise. They were talking so much to each other that I got to hunt whatever one I wanted because they were talking. So I learned that practicing purposeful patience does pay off, right?
oh
And
yeah.
like, and I also learned if bulls are bugling at each other, just shut up. Just shut up and hunt them. I think listening to those posts of Paul's, I think he brought that up. Like, if bulls are talking to each other, does it get any better than that? You get to go hunt them and not let them know where you are, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, just let them keep going. Like, let them egg each other on and go kill them, right?
Yep.
And
Sneak in and
I was hunting one day. I usually hunt solo. I was hunting one day with a guy and we had this debate. So here's something for our listeners to chew on. You hear a lot of these hunting influencers and stuff say like, oh, I'm really into stalking elk because then they don't know where I am. Like, I like calling them, but then they know where you are. Well, listener, let me tell you, that only works if they're already bugling or if you can see them or whatnot. If they're not bugling and you can't see them and you're walking through the woods with your bow not bugling, that's exactly what you're doing. You are walking through the woods with your bow not bugling. You're not actually hunting because there's no chance you're going to frickin' see an elk if you can't
right.
locate them. You have to make some noise at some point. So I experienced that this year too. When I was hunting, he's like, oh, I'm not sure I want to bugle. They'll know where we're at. And we stopped and had a good discussion. I was like, well, I totally understand that, but we don't know where the F they are. What are we playing a game of chess here? They don't know where we're at, but we don't know where they're at. So like, I'm not into going for hikes. Like, that's not my deal, right? I want to go kill something. I want to
Right.
hunt. And so sometimes you have to bugle, right? Like,
Well, and I'm of the opposite thought process of, I mean, even when they're bugling, it's like, let them bugle, sneak in, and then when you get to that range of 75 yards, you've got all these ticked off bulls.
yeah,
And then that's when you do your call because you're in their wheelhouse and they don't like it. Or you come in on a satellite bull and you walk to them and you're pretty much showing that you're choosing them and
yep,
they bugle and then you cow call right after them saying, you're the bull that I want. And they're
yeah.
going to, they're excited. They don't have any
Well,
cows. They want cows. And so, and I guess with that argument, like you said, you can't find any. We make so much noise in the woods that I feel like bugling and making cow sounds makes up for noise.
Oh,
And so
100%.
and we're moving. And when they come in, every bull that I've ever, I shouldn't say every, but a lot of the bulls that I've seen come in, if I called right here and I move to a better shooting lane,
Yeah.
they come straight in looking where I made that sound. They have no clue I'm over here to the right. I mean, they pinpoint those sounds so well, but we have the advantage of being able to move. We can make a sound
Right. Right.
and move.
Right.
And so them knowing where I'm at isn't a big deal because they need to know where I'm at to come in
Yep.
to me.
Yep.
And with that, I've had a last day of the season, your last hoorah, where these bulls are feeding in this avalanche chute where all the trees were down or
Yep.
taken down, and then all the little new trees are coming up. But they're kind of getting, they're taller than the elk, but it's nasty to get through them.
Yeah.
I've cow called. I saw this bull. He was in a little opening in there.
Yep.
And I was like, if I just walk through there, I'm going to bust him. And I was
Right.
like, but I can make all this noise and I'm just going to cow call the whole way to him.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and he didn't make one sound. And I just knew he was in the opening. It was like my last ditch effort. We have an hour of light, last day of the year. And I just cow called as I'm stumbling over trees, making so much noise, punching through brush. And I'm like, there's no way this is going to work.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, I just kept cow talking. Like, this is just a cow. Like, there's nothing else. That's what's making this noise. That's what's happening.
Yep.
And I got to 15 yards from that bull.
Love it.
And the thing is I came through and he was still feeding. He didn't even look up.
Yeah, because you were just a cow. You had the win and you were just a cow.
And I was just a cow.
Yep.
I was just a cow. And so I think there's value in being sneaky. And I'm not saying that is not a play you never use.
Right.
I'm saying,
but
I'm saying you having everything in your tool belt isn't a bad thing, I guess.
Agreed. Well, what do you say next week we tell our favorite story of our season?
Let's do it.
So,
my favorite story is my worst story. It's the story.
my favorite story will actually have everybody laughing. And then they'll probably also look at their radio or their screen on their car and say, "There's no effing way that happened." Swear to God, it happened. It happened. The story I'll tell happened. So, I hope everybody, one way or another, it's a successful season. Whether you actually put meat in the freezer or not, it's a successful season because you learn something, you get out to be in, God's miracle, and you get to see things that the majority of people don't get to see and experience it. And that makes it, that makes the hunt a win. Whether you notch the tag or not, it makes it a win.
Well, and just like us talking about it right now, we're talking about what we learn, and I'm as excited as I've ever been.
Oh yeah.
Elk.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys, till next week. If you're gearing up for rifle season, I would strongly encourage you to get the Elk Nut app. I know a lot of rifle hunters often don't, but y'all, rifle season's going to be absolutely insane. That first few days of rifle season, those bulls should be torching off like no other. At least in North Idaho, that's my guess.
Right. Well, and don't forget the Cut Right app. You need the Cut Right app.
Save yourself some money.
Save yourself some butchering money.
Absolutely.
Get that elk off the mountain quick, efficient. It's still warm. That weatherman, doesn't matter what he says, it can still hit.
He's wrong as hell. I'm telling you, he's just wrong as hell. So I'm going to look at the forecast next time we record for opening week of rifle, and I'll tell you how wrong he's going to be. I'll give you my guess. So
it's about as good as his.
100%. And then I'll just come in and be like, weather patterns change real fast. Sorry about that. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. When I go hunting, the most important thing to me, it's not the horns, it's not the size of the animal, it's not the ivories, it's not anything except the meat. That's the most limited resource in my freezer. It's the most limited resource in my home is the wild game that we have frozen. And I got to tell you, that's why we made the switch a couple years ago to initial ascent packs. They simply carry heavy loads more comfortably. being a professional butcher, when my clients ask me, "Hey, what should I use? My pack's hurting, my back, etc." It's super important to be able to get heavy loads out of the mountains quickly, efficiently, and comfortably. And then have the wherewithal, because you're not overly sore because the pack's so comfortable, to be able to deal with your meat back at camp, to be able to deal with it at home, to be able to do what you need to do. Maybe your buddy has a tag that you need to go out and help him hunt now. And that's the reason we paired up with Initial Ascent. We started rocking Initial Ascent packs. They have saved my butt more times than I can count. And like I said, being a butcher, the most important thing on any of our hunts, but especially on my hunts, is the meat. And I'm not going to sacrifice my body to pack it out when I have, quite honestly, the most comfortable backpack and frame system that, in my opinion, has ever been produced for hunting. Initial Ascent, carry heavy loads more comfortably.